What's up, guys? So today I'm going to be making a video talking about the winning mentality that you need to have for Pokemon investing. Now, to start this off, I want to start with two quotes. The first is, "There's no such thing as losing, only learning." And the second one is, "Opinions are like assholes, everyone has one." Now, I promise I'm going to relate this to Pokemon investing, but before we start, I just want to say 85% of you guys still aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you find value in this content, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe. Now, with that said, to start off with, "There's no such thing as losing, only learning." I don't entirely agree with this quote, but with that said, there are a lot of things that we can take from it, such as that when we make mistakes, we need to learn from them. So in terms of Pokemon investing, we should be looking at the data and we should be looking at our investments and then trying to figure out what we should do in the future. So for example, when I look at my investments, I see my booster boxes, Fusion Strike, Lost Origin, Chilling Reign, Brilliant Stars. These are all doing amazing. Even Paldea Evolved, Silver Tempest, my booster bundles, some ETBs are doing well. So when I look at this data, okay, booster boxes, my ETBs are doing well. Booster bundles are doing well also. But when I get further down, I see some things like my Shining Fates ETBs down here. These haven't done well. These are really bad. And this was one of my first investments I made when I got back into the hobby. And I regret doing it. But what I've learned from it is that, first of all, don't pay MSRP if you don't have to. And second of all, don't buy sets that are printed into oblivion that have absolutely no value. So outside of that top Charizard, there's nothing in this, right? Like, no one really wants Shining Fates. Now, with time, sure, this box will probably move up and I'll probably be able to sell it at a gain eventually. But it's really just here as a reminder to me for that. Don't buy really bad overprinted product that no one wants, that has no depth. Another reminder of overpaying for things. Now, when I look in here, obviously my 151 ETBs, I bought these at retail. I didn't actually initially think that these were going to be investments, but I've put them in my investment portfolio, so I overpaid on those. Fusion Strike, these are actually sleeved, by the way. Same thing with these Astral Radiance ones. The system just doesn't have sleeve boosters for those, so yeah, those are actually sleeved, but I overpaid for them. I paid way too much for these Fusion Strike and Astral Radiance sleeve boosters. So for me, that's another reminder. Don't buy stuff at a insanely high price when I don't have to. Look around, try and find a better price, and if I can't, just don't buy it. Now, obviously, my Chilling Reign booster, this is my worst investment, but statistically, right on this, based on total value. But this is an entire sealed case. I did open the case, but I was okay paying a premium for it. And the value I paid for it is actually way less than what's listed on eBay right now, like the lowest case of these. So I'm actually okay with it. I think I'm going to be able to move these. But I might make a video in the future, in like a year, 6 months, and say this is a bad investment. But for now, I'm okay with it. The Fusion Strike, the Astral, terrible. Paying this high for the 151 ETB is terrible as well. Even Paradox Rift, you could make an argument that this is too high of a price to pay. But the point is that you're going to make investments that aren't as good as your other ones, and you need to acknowledge that and you need to learn from it and not make those same mistakes in the future. Another example for me, the Galar Power Mini Tins, my collector's chest. I shouldn't have bought these. Now, I did get a really good price on them, so I'm going to break even or even, make decent money on them once I eventually get rid of them, but they're harder to get rid of. They take up a ton of space. And considering I want to get into a lot more booster boxes, I need that space. So when I look back on it, those are things that I should not have bought. Now, relating this to current events and where we're at in the current market, say you missed out on Astral Radiance. Now, I'm not saying you should be buying Astral Radiance in the 150s, 160s, 170s. As you can see, we had a case sale today at 185 a box. Lots of sales in the 160, 170 range. So yeah, I wouldn't be buying Astral at that price, but if you want to, go for it. Same thing with Fusion Strike. If you missed out, or, you could have bought these at MSRP, but if you've missed out, you missed the boat at this point. Lost Origin, still in stock at MSRP if you have access to the Pokemon Center in the US. This might be something, if you haven't learned from Fusion Strike, if you haven't learned from Astral, all of these Sword and Shield boxes seem like they're going to get a huge pump once they go out of stock. So especially Lost Origin, because it's a lot better set than Astral Radiance and probably even Fusion Strike when you're talking to most people. So be that as it may, again, that's something you can learn from. But again, you can apply this to any other product, right? If you have good experience with 151 UPCs, maybe 3-pack blisters, you've had good experience with those or bad experiences with them. That's going to dictate whether you want to buy the product or not buy the product, right? So you have to look at your investments, your experiences, and make up your mind. Now, this leads into the second quote: opinions are like assholes, everyone has one. When you're talking about Pokemon investing, everyone has an opinion. Everyone wants to give their 2 cents. I mean, go to Reddit. This is just from today, right? 12 hours ago. What booster box should I get while I can right now? Someone's going down here and talking about Brilliant Stars, Lost Origin, saying the ship has sailed in Astral Radiance. What else we got down here? Scarlet and Violet stuff. This person's talking about Paldea Evolved. This person's talking about Lost Origin. They're adamant about it. They get 5 points. What else? Stock up on cheap SV, sure. Paldea Evolved, Brilliant Stars, Lost Origin, even Paradox Rift, Lost Origin, Astral Radiance, some person says down here, Scarlet and Violet era, and then Battle Styles. So you have an eclectic mix of what people are telling you to invest in. Now, the point is that for this, the mindset is you need to decide on your own what you're going to invest in. I sit here and I make videos and I talk about the market and I talk about what I'm invested in and I tell you exactly what I have. So for example, I have 6 Astral Radiance. I have, 28 Fusion Strike and 37 booster boxes of Lost Origins. So I openly tell you what I have. I'm not telling you that you need to buy any of these. I'm not telling you that you should FOMO into Astral right now or whatever, or, if you want to get into Lost Origin right now, I think it's a good play. So if you want to do it, sure. If not, that's cool, right? You need to make up your own mind. You need to decide what is going to work for you. Now, you should draw on your own experience for this, but you should also draw on other people's experience, right? It doesn't hurt to broaden our perspective on certain things. So for example, I made a couple videos and people were giving me shit about battle styles, saying that I had it underrated. Same thing with build and battle stadiums. And these are both products that I'm now looking at. Not saying I'm going to invest in them, but I'm going to do more research. I'm going to look at the products and I'm really going to strongly consider whether I should, maybe think more highly of these products in comparison to what I do right now, right? So it doesn't hurt to take criticism and to broaden our perspectives, but at the end of the day, you need to stick with your guns and you need to follow your own path, right? We all have different experiences. Like some of you live in Europe, some of you live in North America, some of you live in Australia or other parts of the world, Singapore, Malaysia, I saw maybe even South America, who knows, other parts of the world, different countries, who cares, right? So we all have different experiences. The markets are different. Our lives are completely different. We might be in different parts of our lives where some of us have more money to spend on this. Some of us have less money. Some of us have more responsibilities, less responsibilities, right? There's so many factors that don't take some person's opinion as, the holy truth, right? There's always something that can be argued in favor of something else. And again, whether you want to be in Astral Radiance, Fusion Strike, Lost Origin, you want to be in 151 UPCs, you want to be in 3-pack blisters, whatever it is, you're going to do well long enough if you're staying in the product and you wait it out, right? When you look at the general stock market, most people don't succeed because they don't spend enough time in the market. Whereas if you just sit in the market, you wait it out for decades, you're going to make money. And especially if you're constantly investing every single month, part of your paycheck or whatever, you're eventually most likely going to be a millionaire by the time you retire, right? So I think most people, when they're on their deathbed, when they're 80, 90 years old, maybe even older, God willing, as long as you're healthy, most people aren't going to care whether they made 1.5 million or if they made 1 million off their investments, right? The point is that you put your money to work, you stick to your plan, you stick to your guns, and you just follow through, right? If you're constantly flip-flopping, constantly wasting time, arguing on Reddit. And I mean, I get in the comments too, I talk about it, and I think there's value in discussing things and broadening our perspectives. But if you're constantly doing it, if you're constantly picking fights and just saying pointless shit on the internet when you could be spending that time making more money so you could invest in more product, you're going to do well, you're going to do better long term. So really just focus in on what you want to do, right? It might not be the best for everyone else, but it may be the best option for you. And obviously there's going to be a lot of overlap between people because, general principles, some things like a booster box of Lost Origin is probably going to do better than a 3-pack of Unbroken Bonds in the future. But hey, you know what? It really just depends on your own perspective, your own life, where you're at, what you can buy things for, your current market. So there's so many factors. That's the point I was trying to make. Learn from our mistakes. Obviously, there is such thing as losing. You can lose money on investment. So the quote isn't fully accurate, but if you learn from your mistakes so you can't repeat them in the future, you're going to become a better investor. And the second thing is, take in outside perspectives, try and broaden your ideas, but that doesn't mean that you need to follow them. Stop wasting time arguing with people. Just make a plan, stick to it, and I promise you over 5-10 years you are going to do well. Even longer period of time. Hell, if you want to hold these boxes 20-30 years, I'm not sure everyone's in it that long, but yeah. With that said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.